Welcome back to Crizzy Like Movie. Today we're going to be watching King Kong, the 1933 version. I saw the 2005 Peter Jackson one. I remember really liking it, but it's been a long time since I've watched that one. Maybe it's not any good. This is the Big Daddy. This is the OG. The original kaiju monster. Even though he's not Japanese because he was made in America. America is number one, baby. I'm about 100 years late on this one. But it's time to finally watch the 1930s special effects revolutionary classic, King Kong. The movie starts off with an overture, so you can really tell its age right away. The first song that plays is actually really lovely. It's nice. It's also like very tense. It's kind of haunting. This is good stuff. We are at the docks of New York City. We see a man walk up to an old sailor and he's asking about a ship called the Moving Victor. The old salty dog asks him if he's going on this crazy voyage. We find out that it's being run by a man named Carl Denham. He's a filmmaker. Off to make his next picture. The reason this voyage is apparently so crazy is because the ship they're taking is quite large for a movie crew. It's also holding some strange cargo. We don't know what that is yet. The crew is also 3 times the size of what this ship actually needs. Why do you got so many people on board? What are they up to? We move to the inside of the ship. We see Denham and the skipper. They're talking. I guess they're waiting on more ammunition and bombs, even though they already have a bunch on board. They're also in a hurry to get to sea because it's monsoon season, and where they're going, they need to beat that. The man from the docks comes in. His name is Weston. He's the theatrical agent. We also meet the first mate. His name is Driscoll. They're complaining about how they couldn't find a lead actress for this movie. Nobody was brave enough. Nobody wanted to take the risk or the adventure. We need a girl to star in a picture, see? Denham's like, F it. I'll find the gal myself. He takes a cab to a women's shelter. He's checking all the women in line out. None of these hags are gonna work. He stops at a fruit stand and a woman, she tries to steal an apple or something, and Denham's like, hey, don't worry about it, I'll pay for it. He gets a good look at the dashing dame and he is simply glowing. He takes her to a diner and he proposes the idea. Her name is Ann Darrow and he offers her the role. She's like, what's the movie? He's like, shut up, toots, quit asking questions. Money, fame, money. She's concerned it's a skin flick. And he's like, whoa, no, this is legit. We leave at 6 a.m. She's like, where do I sign? I'm gonna be honest, I don't watch a lot of older movies. This one is from the 30s, so this is really old. Very early days of movie making. And there are clearly a lot of things that had not been figured out yet. Like line delivery and natural dialogue. They deliver their lines so fast in this movie, it can be very difficult for me to understand. Like, I'm stupid. They also tend to stand in one spot most of the time. Maybe one guy kind of moves around, but everything's in like a central area on the set. I think if the whole movie was like this, I'd blow my head off. The ship sets sail. Driscoll's on the deck shouting at all the men. Anne comes up and he accidentally hits her in the face. She's like, oh boy, I've never been on a boat before. He's like, well, I've never had a woman on board, and women are a pain in my ass. I hate women, and if I see you up here on the deck again, I'm gonna kill you. He doesn't really go that far, but he does not like having a lady on this boat. But they share a laugh about how he accidentally hit her. And if she don't keep her mouth shut, he'll do it again. Later, Anne is chatting with the Chinese cook when Driscoll comes up, and he just starts talking at her again. I thought based on the last interaction that they had that, they'd be fine, but nope, he's like, God damn it, women are a pain in my ass and I don't want you here. She's like, I'm having the best time of my life. Everybody's so nice. He's like, women were created to make me hate my life. Denham walks up, Anne leaves to go get ready. They're gonna do some lighting tests. Driscoll's like, hey man, where are we going? He's like, don't worry about it, but also don't fall in love with that girl. Every beast sees a beauty and they fall hard. Apparently they're in the East Indies and they're looking for this island that doesn't exist on any map. Denham got a map from some guy he met in Singapore. He shows them a map of a small island and it seems pretty normal except for the ominously named Skull Mountain. We look a little closer. We also see that there's been a wall built on this sort of peninsula area. Apparently this is where the natives live. They built a wall to separate them from whatever lives on the main part of the island. He then asks them if they've heard of Kong. They're like, yeah, that's just some old tale. He's like, it's not a tale, it's real. and I'm gonna go film it. That's what all these guns are for, and all the bombs and stuff. They do some light tests with Anne. Every guy on the ship is watching her with their tongues out. I would be terrified to be the only woman on this ship. Look at these dogs. He's also got her acting to be like looking at something as if it's like this giant, scary, horrific thing. This wouldn't be foreshadowing, would it? The ship has now entered a dense fog, and they're all looking for the island. They're like, damn it, Denham, this island doesn't exist. When they hear drums beating in the distance, and now we see the island, Skull Mountain, and the wall. Driscoll's like, I don't think that Anne should go to shore. I thought this guy didn't want her on the boat. Make up your mind, bro. Women shouldn't be on boats. They load up the rowboats, they go to shore, and wow, what a set piece. I'm like kind of baffled by this. I don't really know how they did this. I assume this is a painting, but there's like a beach. There's waves like coming. I don't know. This looks pretty incredible. They're in the village now, but nobody's there until they hear some chanting, and it sounds like Kong, 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 Kong. They move in closer and hide behind the smallest bush of all time. I don't know if this was supposed to be a comedy bit, but it is funny. The villagers are doing this huge song and dance. There's guys dressed like apes. It's really cool. There's a girl in the middle, and they're putting flowers all over, and she looks really sad. Denham gets too excited, and he decides that he's got to film this, and then the head honcho spots them. The whole tribe is like, what the f***? They stand their ground as the villagers move forward. Skipper, I guess, speaks their language, and they're like, hey, why don't you get the f*** out of here? He tells them the girl with the flowers is the new bride of Kong. Lucky. The witch doctor then tells the chief that they spoiled the ceremony. Then they spot Anne, and they're like, who's that blonde bitch? Kong would love her. I'll give you 6 of my girls for her. The crew's like, no deal, and we should get the out of here before they trap and kill all of us. Back on the ship, Anne and Driscoll flirt some more. He's like, I don't really trust Denham. I think that he's gonna end up getting you killed. She's like, I don't care. I'm so excited. I'm having a great time. And he's like, I love you. Jesus, buddy, take it easy. I guess she must feel the same because they smooch. They'll be married in an hour, I assume. That's how things worked back in the 30s. Told some girl you just met the other day that you loved her and now she's yours. It was a simpler time. Some of the villagers managed to sneak on the ship and Anne's clueless ass gets kidnapped. The boys are messing around when they see torches on land and they're like, hey, look at that. That looks kind of cool. Driscoll goes to find Anne and the cook finds a tribal necklace and everybody starts freaking out. It is a total rabble of men running around. Anne is missing. They arm themselves to the teeth, pile into the rowboats. Even the cook is trying to go. He's got his meat cleaver. The tribe is going bananas. They've got Anne in the center where the flower girl used to be. I bet that chick is stoked. They open up the giant doors and wait a minute, this looks familiar. They take Anne through the doors, they tie her up on some pillars with skulls on them, they run back in, they bar the doors up, they head to the top of the wall to watch the show. They hit a gong a few times and we hear something moving through the trees, and there he is in all of his claymation glory. Kong the giant ape. Kong is so great. There is a charm to like the wonky movements, the stop motion pieces, and the actual like real prosthetic head that they cut away to for close-ups. It's really great. He sees Anne and he's like, yeah, a white woman, yeah. She's losing her mind and manages to get herself free and falls off of the platform when he snatches her up. The crowd goes absolutely nuts and so does he. He's like, yeah, baby, hell yeah. This is like a wrestling match. The crew is in the village now and they storm the wall. Kong walks off into the jungle with Anne. Driscoll sees them and he's like, God damn it, open that gate. Half the men head in after them and the other half stay back, presumably to murder all the savage villagers. They find a giant footprint in the jungle and marvel at the size of it. In the distance, they see a dinosaur. Dinosaur? But I thought those was extinct. It notices them and they light it up. They throw a grenade at it, it falls over, and then they shoot it some more. This is really incredible. This scene. This is not superimposed. It's not cut out. This claymation dinosaur is in front of all of these actors. I am assuming that there is some kind of screen playing the footage at them. Oh, okay, well, yeah, it definitely is now. I was curious about that earlier on the boat because I assumed that they were doing that for the horizon. It's a really cool effect. It's really effective. Like, this looks really great. After inspecting the beast, they move on. They get to work making a raft and float down a river. In the water, we see a long-necked dino head. Cool. Then it's next to the crew, and they freak out and start blasting him, and he tips the raft over. They're all swimming for shore when he starts tossing dudes around. It's great. He chases them ashore and through the muck. One guy climbs a tree and it does not go well for him. We see Kong now lumbering through the thicket with Anne. He hears a commotion and he puts her in a tree. He's like, "God damn it, you get away from my white woman!" He starts shaking them off of a log. Dudes are falling off down into like a ravine. They are hitting the ground like sacks of potatoes. Man, I love this. It is absolutely hilarious. And this is 1933. This is nuts. With them all dead, he's like, "And stay out." Driscoll is still alive though. He's hiding from him, and Kong's kind of feeling around for him when he stabs him in his hand. Anne sees a T-Rex, and she starts screaming. He's like, "White woman!" And Kong's like, "Oh, hell no, she is mine," and they duke it out. He's doing suplexes and bear hugs. Is this the best pro wrestling movie ever made? Anne gets knocked to the ground. They fight some more, and Kong pries its mouth open until it snaps, and he's like, "Yeah! Who's the king, bitch? Me! Who do you think you are? I am!" He scoops her up and they walk on. Denham and Driscoll, I guess, are the only two who are still alive, and they're like, "Hey, we gotta find this broad and get out of here." He finds the T-Rex and it's still breathing, which makes it even more brutal. He didn't even kill it. He snapped its jaw and it's just gonna lay there and bleed out. Denham's back on the ship. He's like, "It was crazy. It killed everybody. Get my bombs. We're gonna take care of this bastard." Driscoll is somehow keeping up with this monkey. They're up in some caves now. This must be where the big dog sleeps. He puts her in an alcove and he walks off when a Loch Ness monster attacks. He smashes its head on the rocks a couple of times. "Yeah, bitch. Me!" He grabs her and he takes her up to a cliffside overlooking the island. He starts bragging some more and Anne passes out and he starts stripping her. I bet this drove the boys in the theater nuts back in 1933. She wakes up and struggles a bit, and this whole scene is like the reverse of the one with the dinosaur, where the claymation and stop motion is in front of the screen. The screen is playing back the real stuff. Wow. Like, truly, wow. I'm like so impressed by this. Driscoll makes some noise and he leaves to go check it out when a pterodactyl attacks her. He grabs it, and as they fight, Driscoll and Anne escape down a vine. He's like, "Huh? Where'd my girl go?" He grabs the vine and pulls them back up. They let go and land in the water below. Like, barely make it into the water. They swim away and he is so pissed. The crew is still on the wall. They're bored out of their minds when they see them coming. They make it through the wall and Driscoll's like, "Bar that thing back up, he's coming." And then Driscoll tries to give her some booze. "Drink up, Toots, you're hysterical." Denham is like, "What about Kong? We gotta capture this guy. We'd make a fortune. Let's use a woman as bait." And there's no need for that, because that boy is on his way. They barred the door and the tribe comes out and they're all holding the door back, and Kong starts beating it down. He breaks the barrier down and everybody scatters. He's like, "Where is my woman?" He starts smashing huts. They're throwing spears at him. He's like, "Tree limb, bitch. Get eaten, fool. Super punch. Yo house. Eat mud. You eat mud too." On the beach, Denham throws a grenade at him and he starts feeling really woozy, and then he falls over in the sand and passes out. Denham's like, "We're gonna be rich, boys. Rich." And then we see the big city lights. King Kong, the eighth wonder of the world. People are filing into a packed theater. Tickets are $20 a piece. I don't know how much that is adjusted for inflation, but I would assume it's about $1 billion. Anne and Driscoll are backstage and a big gaggle comes up and they're asking them about how they got the beast. Then Denham introduces Kong to the crowd. Kong is restrained on these big, like, giant shackles. And then the gaggle comes out to take pictures, and the flashes from the camera start driving him absolutely insane. And the crowd is like, "Oh shit." They take more pictures and Kong starts thrashing like a maniac and he breaks free. Hell yeah! He chases them off stage and outside into the street. People are crashing cars. He's biting people and throwing people. He sees Driscoll and Anne go into a hotel. Honestly, he should be thrilled. Like, forget Anne, this town is full of women. They deploy the cops and the fire department. He snatches a woman out of her bed and drops her below. Driscoll and Anne are in a room and he sees them and he goes in to grab her. He knocks Driscoll out and takes Anne up to the roof. He's like, "All right, baby girl, you're safe now. Quit screaming, it's me, baby." You know me. He hears the sirens and then he's on the move. He's back on the streets causing all kinds of mayhem. He knocks a train line down. These poor bastards have no clue what's about to happen to them. I love this shot of him looking in the train too. They deploy some planes as he's scaling the Empire State Building. This is so awesome. I know that this is a very iconic shot, but just watching it, it's so great. The planes are incoming and this is awesome. He's screaming at them like, leave me alone, I just want to hang out with my girlfriend. He sets her down and he's like, fine, come on, I'll kill you all. They start making passes and firing at him. He's swinging. He clips one and it crashes in a fire nest. Then he gets clipped. He's like, what the hell is this? Blood? My blood? No one's ever done this to me before. And he starts fading really fast and he's slipping off of the building. It gets really sad, honestly. He grabs Anne and then he sets her down again and he gives her a couple of pets. He gets shot again and then dramatically ragdolls off of the building. Driscoll's there. He grabs Anne. Oh, thank God. You two are the real monsters. Kong is dead on the street. Denham's looking at him and he's like, it wasn't the planes that killed him. It was beauty that killed the beast. The end. That was surprisingly good, like much better than I expected. I don't know how other movies were made at the time. I haven't seen too many of them. So maybe this was more common than I thought, but the sets on this were amazing. The effects still quite incredible. One of the things that this movie is more of a showcase for all the special effects and things that they were trying to do. It's just that, like, they're just showing off, like, hey, look at all this crazy shit we did for this movie. But I'm absolutely here for it. They are awesome still. The Kong fights do tend to go on a little too long. Like, I get why. I'm not really hating, but they are very drawn out. Beauty and the Beast is referenced throughout the entire thing. In case you missed that subtext, this is a story about Beauty killing Beast. One thing that I think the 2005 version does better, which again, I haven't seen it in a while, it does a really good job of making Kong more sympathetic, and Anne and Kong's relationship makes the movie a little more impactful. It makes the story better, in my opinion. I think the 2005 version is a superior storytelling movie than this one is. In this, he is a straight up monster through and through. He's treated like one. But this is a pretty tragic story, honestly. Like, Kong doesn't know what the hell's going on or why all this stuff is happening to him. He's just a monkey. The only crime he committed was falling in love with a blonde girl. Who hasn't? Happened to me. Then he gets captured, taken from his home to a big old stupid city, and then he gets shot off the top of a building. This is not fair. Your Honor, I demand justice. Justice for the giant ape. I really did not care for the human characters or their story. Anne and Driscoll's love didn't mean shit to me. It was rushed, it was boring, it was flat. Luckily, the people who made the movie knew that, and they get to the action pretty quick. Once we get the boring human stuff set up, it just immediately goes into, this is the story of a giant ape monster, and it stays that way. I have always heard about how groundbreaking and revolutionary this movie is. You can absolutely see it. It's just nuts. So much of this still is impressive by today's standards. I would much rather see a modern movie attempting to do things like this and being creative with the way that they present stuff than whatever CGI mess is usually being slapped in my face. All the projection of like stop motion in front of and behind actors, like, it's really amazing. The influence of the movie is obviously everywhere. Most notably for me is Jurassic Park, but there's other like scenes throughout it that you can see in all kinds of movies. There's one specifically of a little kid crying while Kong is thrashing through the village. I mean, I feel like I've seen that scene so many times. Even with its age, it is still a pretty cool movie. It's got a lot of craft, a lot of creativity, a lot of care went into this movie, and it made a huge impact on the industry. And honestly, most movies couldn't achieve what this one did. I highly recommend watching it if you love movies, especially if you love like sci-fi, horror, if you love effects, and especially practical effects like I do. Absolutely watch this. It's not a perfect movie. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Some of what's in it is pretty goddamn amazing, though. It's definitely worth watching. If you're a fan of film history, and effects, watch this. This is good. But what do you think? Have you seen King Kong? What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Sound off in the comments below. I do plan on watching like every King Kong, at least like the main ones, and then I'll probably watch some of the side ones too. I know that there was a sequel that came out like very quickly after this one, but I think I'm gonna watch like the 70s one, and then there's one in the 80s, King Kong Lives. And then from there, who knows? I just love big, strong monkey who snatches women and breaks buildings. That's what I like. But let me know if there's any other like big, giant ape movies that I should watch. I know that there's a lot. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel for more, and as always, thanks for watching. Bye. Mwah.